In today's video, I'll be sharing how I invested $1,000 on my personal finance journey. But before I do, I will begin by saying that my personal finance journey literally began 7 years ago when I wanted to learn more about managing money and growing wealth. And at this time, I honestly desired to buy my first property. I was in debt of about £12,000, and my focus was really how to manage my salary at the time, which was not a lot, and being able to pay off the debt, pay off all my outgoings, my needs, and also my wants, and be able to save up to buy a property in London. Many of you know that purchasing a property in London is the biggest investment anyone can ever make. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Carina. I talk about everything personal finance. I go into a bit of travel, I talk about self-development, and I share my faith. So if these are topics that you enjoy, stay tuned. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel, to turn on your bell notification so you're made aware each time I post a video, and do not fail to like, share it with your friends and family. And for my regulars, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for tuning in today. It's so lovely to have you here. Without further ado, I really want to delve into today's topic, which is how I went about investing my first $1,000. Today I'm going to start with disciplines that help me pay off my £12,000 in debt and allowed me to save up money to purchase my first property in London. These disciplines allowed me to pay off this debt in 3 years. I wasn't radical. If I was radical, I would have paid it off in probably 18 months to 2 years. But the reason I chose 3 years was I did not want to deprive myself of the luxuries I enjoy, which is I love to travel, I love to host, I love to entertain friends and family. I also enjoy going out and doing things for myself. And on top of that, I was also saving to purchase a property. Some might say, but you had a very good job that allowed you to save up. The answer is no. At the time when I started saving, I had only just started my career. So at that time, I was not paid a lot of money, as you would imagine. But at the same time, living in a city like London, you would agree with me that even if you're on 6-figure salary, that can really go within a twinkle of an eye if you're not careful about it. Some might say to me, but you could have also found a new job, and your new job would have paid you more, and then you'll be able to save up quicker. That is true. However, when I did a lot of research and also dug deep in speaking to myself what I want and what I desired in life, in my research and with personal experience, I realized that actually getting a new job was only a slice of achieving your goal. Discipline and sacrifice went a longer way in you achieving your goal. One thing I did when I looked at my finances, looked at my resources, looked at where I was in life in terms of my earning potential, I decided to stay in the job that I had, but because that job gave me time, and that was what I invested more into. I had to wait and say to myself, it's either I take a job that is more paid but I would not have the time, or I take the job that I had and stay in my job, learn more in my job, up my skill, try to negotiate a better pay or higher salary, but at the same time that gave me time to invest in the things that I wanted to do. For example, setting up businesses, working on my YouTube channel, having a social media presence, and being able to work on my personal finance journey. And this was what I did. So I spent my time and resources into learning personal finance and learning how I can grow wealth and how I can manage my money better. The first area is self-awareness. It's all well and good having the ideas of the things you want to achieve, but having a goal and putting your goal together and making them plans that are achievable is the only way that you can attain the things that you set for yourself. So self-awareness in the sense that you know what you want and what you intend to achieve out of life. And then the next step in that is to put plans together to achieve those. Many of us are not very self-aware. We allow life to happen to us. I've met so many people that have said to me, I wake up in the morning and I just let life happen to me, and what happens, I deal with it. I don't think this is a very good way of going about life, because in that sense, you are allowing life to dictate for you how you should respond. However, a more practical way of doing this, especially if you're someone who has a goal to achieve, is to set the goals and make your plan. You're basically planning your life out. So a way that you can grow in self-awareness is by asking yourself, what do I want in life? Second question is, how can I achieve it? The third question is, what have I done that has stopped me from achieving it all these years? Once you've answered these three questions, then the next thing you do is to invest the money that you have into ensuring that you're doing the things that will benefit you in your future life. The second point I want us to look at today is education or knowledge. There's a saying, knowledge is power. I'll take this further and say knowledge utilized is powerful. Knowledge that has not been utilized is useless, in the sense that a lot of us have knowledge. A lot of us know what is right to do, but if we don't do it, we're not powerful. We're practically useless. The ability to read and understand is a skill that is worth investing into. This might not even cost you money. It just will cost you discipline. So you discipline yourself to read, to understand, because in education, you need to read to understand and implement what you're reading. Another motivator is you wanting something so desperately that you're willing to change. A lot of us want things, but are we willing to change our lifestyle? Are we willing to change our life to achieve that? For me, in my journey of personal finance, which began 7 years ago, I really desired to change my life. I desired to have a better life. I desired so much that I was willing to change my ways of doing things to be able to achieve the kind of life that I want. And that desire came from a passion to want to make a difference, to help other people, to help myself, to help my family, to help my friends, to help the community around me. I desire so deeply to want to leave wealth for my next generation, for my children, that they would not need to worry about money. Of course, when that time comes, they would also be educated. There's no point leaving money. If they don't know how to manage it, then they're going to lose it. The ability to grow wealth is not only making money. And this is why I said to you, earning more is only a slice of it. You can make a lot of money and also lose that money in your lifetime. So making money is one part of growing wealth. Growing wealth involves maintaining and being a custodian of what you have created. And actually, the ability to grow wealth is your ability to maintain the money that you have made and grow it for it to be there from one generation to the other. Once you have achieved your why and you have hopefully achieved your how, which is basically how you go about educating yourself, whether it's through webinars, trainings, seminars, conferences, even online training where you educate yourself. By educating yourself, you grow in your self-worth, you grow in your confidence, you're able to then renegotiate your salary if you need the rises, and there's so many opportunities that then open up to you through this self-education that you've given to yourself. The third point I want us to explore today is patience and focus. The ability to grow money is something that involves a lot of patience. I said to you that my personal finance journey started about 7 years ago, which is true, but it started even earlier than that. My desire to grow the money that I had and the mediums in which I wanted to go about it. Yes, I may not have been aggressive about the pursuit of how I wanted to grow, but I always knew at the back of my mind, I was always learning, I was always studying ways that I can grow money. That takes a long time. When I look back at the journey I've had, even my education has taken me close to 15 to 20 years, and I'm still being educated and I'm still learning. So learning is a very long process. It takes a lot of patience for us to be able to achieve and attain where we want to go. But in that process, we need to remain focused. Your ability to stay focused is also a discipline that you are harnessing whilst you're learning the ability to grow money and grow wealth. That said, if you have $1,000 to invest you need to ensure that your return on your investment is worth it. If you have debt in the form of either credit cards or loans, depending on what the interest rates are, for credit cards, usually the interest rates are quite high. My suggestion would be to try and pay off your credit cards. The reason I say that is even if you decided today to buy stocks and shares and you went into the market and you started buying your stocks and shares, if you take the S&P for example, over the last 40 years has grown by 7%. It may be less depending on what year we're in, and in this year of very high inflation, stocks may not do very well, but on average they've done about 7%. Your debt that you're paying back, the interest is likely to be way more than 7%. The likelihood of you paying between 15 to 20% interest on your credit card debt is much higher. So even if you took that $1,000 today and you put that in stocks and shares, you're only going to get 7% of that. If you took that $1,000 and you happen to have credit card debt and you used it to clear off your credit card debt, it means that 20% interest you're paying, or however much it is that you're paying on your credit card, you wouldn't have to be paying that. And that's the reason why I say to you to pay off the high interest debt first before you start looking to invest your money. Using this in my scenario, when I mentioned to you that I had my $12,000 debt that I needed to pay off, it wasn't a credit card debt. It was a debt that was there. It wasn't increasing in interest, but I had to pay it off. And what I did was, instead of me putting money in stocks and shares, I did not invest in stocks and shares during the time I was looking to purchase a property and pay off my debt. So what I did was focus on paying off the debt, and some money I put into saving towards buying my first home. The fourth point I want to share with you today is self-control. It's easy to have so many ideas, but if nothing is done, how many of those will materialize to anything tangible? I'll tell you, the answer is none. The ability to have self-control is one of the best traits that you can have if you are looking to grow wealth and to have generational wealth. You need self-control to be able to achieve this. Let's take for example the stock market. If you invested some of your stocks in the stock market and the market dips, without self-control and education of how the stock market works, that it goes up and it comes down, it fluctuates, and that's standard. However, over a longer period of time, it would attain the level of growth that you foresee. If there's no self-control or education in this area, you're most likely to sell your stocks and shares and you lose out on something really significant. If you sell your stocks or shares when the market is low, you are losing. When you sell it when the market is high, you are appreciating. So your stock has appreciated in value. But most times people sell when their stocks are low, so they lose out on the market. So it's easy for you to say, oh, the market is not good because you don't have self-control. The lessons that you learn from educating yourself, learning how the financial market works, would help you to enhance and grow in the ability of self-control. That when the market dips, you're not running around like a headless chicken thinking that you've lost out. All you would do is stay calm, watch the market, and eventually you'll see the market rise again and you'll see your growth, also your stocks and shares increasing in value. Self-control really was an area that I had to grow in when I was saving for my first property. Self-control helped me through law school. The ability to grow in this area has been very beneficial for me, because when I was trying to buy my first property, I told you that I had a loan as well of $12,000. It's so easy to immediately give up. From the time I saved up the money to the time I purchased that property was a longer period. It took me 7 years in total to then purchase my first property. It takes self-control and discipline to be able to pursue the goals that you set for yourself, and knowing my why was so important in achieving that, and kept me strong and rigid in terms of the decisions that I made and the areas where I had to say no. The last point today I want to share with you is discipline. I've touched on this in so many different parts of this video. Discipline is what will get you from point A, which is where you are right now, to point B and point C, where you hope to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, however the case may be. And in this area of discipline, I want to touch on how you grow in the stock market. In general, the stock market yields anywhere between 7 to 8% over the last 40 years of the S&P 500. But in looking at that, you see that if if you had £1,000 and you invested in the stock market, at the end of year one, where it has done the best in that particular year, it's only grown by 8%. What is 8% of £1,000? $80, £80. However, if you decided that you spend your £1,000 on yourself, in educating yourself, and over the years you built a business portfolio, you built an empire, a business that has grown, you've built other side hustles that have yielded you more money, you've grown in your career, you've developed a lot more with the disciplines that you've learned during the process of educating yourself, and all the other disciplines that you've had to grow on whilst on your personal finance journey. You now have $1 million to invest in the stock market. At the end of year one of investing your $1 million, how much are you going to make in terms of profit if the market grew by 8% in that year? You would have gotten yourself $80,000. If you invested $100,000 in 1 year, it yielded you 8%, you would have made $8,000. You can see there's a substantial difference from investing a small £1,000 or $1,000. I know it's hard to earn $1,000 or have that money to save up, but if you put that money into educating yourself and growing, you will come to a place where you will grow your assets, and then you're able to put 10,000, 100,000 into the stock market, and then the value of what you're growing is even substantial. So the focus of putting your £1,000 or $1,000 into stocks and shares at this time where you haven't educated yourself, the advice would be to go back and learn these disciplines I've shared with you today. Come back to this video every now and again, see how you're doing. I'll also post an update of this video where if you have obtained these disciplines and you're now ready to invest in the stock market, what type of stocks should you invest in? That will be another video I'm going to be posting, so stay tuned. I have linked videos that are of interest to this video, so if you enjoyed this video, I suggest you hang around and watch those videos as they're going to come up on the screen. In the meantime, I wish you all the best. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.